We are going to be talking about the Johnny Somali situation. Now, for those of you who don't know who Johnny Somali is, he's a nuisance streamer who has kind of spent the last few, I want to say months. I don't think it's gotten to years yet, but I think it's months. And he's just spent the last few months just going around annoying people. He's been to Japan, being incredibly racist, saying incredibly hurtful things to everybody. He's been to some Arab countries and been an absolute nuisance there. Sexually harassed some police officers and some regular people, and eventually he was kicked out of both of those countries. And now he went to South Korea. And in South Korea, immediately he started to find out because as soon as he arrived, people just started putting out green lights on him, and he just started getting jumped by random civilians. Like he was just out on the street, and people just show up, just fucking whooping his ass, right? And now he's actually facing legal consequences to his actions because he went around and he actually molested some statues of pleasure girls. I think that's the name that they had in World War II, which was a monument created for the women who were taken sexual advantage of for the pleasure of soldiers, and they are seen with great respect, and they are a symbol of national mourning in South Korea. So we are going to watch Nikki here react to the situation, and then we're going to react to Nick reacting.
YouTube, what's going on today, man?
How's it going, Nikki?
Oh, this video stinks. In this
Yeah.
upload, we have probably one of the worst streamers that I've ever seen facing up to 10 years in a South Korean.
That doesn't stink at all. That is actually a very, very good situation. Because here's the thing, Johnny is a nuisance, complete nuisance. He hasn't hurt anybody physically, which is a good thing, right? It's a good thing that he hasn't hurt anybody. But he's a complete fucking nuisance. He needs to be stopped, and he needs to be made an example out of. So the situation that he's suffering is good, very good.
Korean prison for going over there and basically being the worst human you can imagine. Now, if you haven't heard of this guy,
I can imagine some worse humans. I can imagine some worse humans. I'm glad he didn't become one of those humans, but he could have been a lot. He could have been a lot worse. He could have been a lot worse. He didn't hurt anybody. He was just a complete fucking nuisance, and he absolutely deserves some consequence for his actions. And I think that the 10 years in prison is a pretty good way to do it because of how many people he's harmed. Do I actually? 10 years might be a little bit too much, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he should be in a South Korean prison. North Korean prison would go crazy, but I don't think it should be a like prison for 10 years for what he's done. I definitely think a consequence should be, put upon him, like a year in prison. I think a year in a low security prison, like I don't feel like he should be in there with the rapists and the killers and the drug dealers and all that, because that's just gonna make him even worse, or kill him. Both of which are bad endings. But I think a year of just chill the fuck out would be good for him.
by the end of the video, you're not going to like him very much. Now, we've
Oh,
done
yeah.
a couple uploads on streamers
For those who
going
don't
around
know,
being
yeah.
provocative, a.k.a. Jack Duarte. This is like Jack with big teeth. Now, you already know if you like these kinds
What do you mean?
of videos, if you mess with my content, don't forget to drop a like on the video.
Yeah, make
Drop
sure
a
to
comment down below. Tell me
like
if you
his
think
video.
this guy deserves
And,
10 years in prison. I don't know, but I think that this guy definitely needs a lesson. Enjoy the video. I'll see you in there. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, I don't think. Personally, I don't think he deserves the 10 years. I think he definitely needs a lesson taught to him.
Take care of each other. Peace and love, gang. Good morning, good afternoon. Today's video is going to be a little stinky. All right, so chat, off the rip of the video, man, we're going to watch some clips that have made this guy famous, for better or worse. How y'all are feeling about it, man? Johnny Somali and friend Gino get beat up and knocked out in Japan.
So this is when, basically in Japan, he was going around yelling Hiroshima, Nagasaki at people, which, national tragedies for them. They had it coming because of what their military was doing throughout the coast of the Pacific, but it was still an awful thing that had to be done, and obviously the world would have been a better place if it hadn't had to happen. And going around taunting them with it is just incredibly poor taste. And yeah.
Grabbing my camera. Down there. Down there. And what? Just don't grab my camera. All you have to say is stop.
Don't grab nothing. Oh.
You know what's crazy about
Bro, like he fully charged those R2s, like straight up charge attack.
this? You hear the other people around clapping. Now,
Oh yeah, of
for
course they're
those
clapping.
that are watching this video,
People in Japan are very mindful of those around them, so they try not to react this way, but they feel like somebody needs to. And so when they see somebody else taking the burden of having to whoop the ass of an asshole from them, like you take that burden on. Thank you so much, man. You're a fucking national hero. Yeah, it's like they're obviously going to be thankful.
people that don't know what that means, I've been in places where this happens. What this means is they're being so annoying to everybody around that finally when someone did something, standing ovation.
Yep.
Perspective is important here.
Anonymous sent $3 Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
And yeah, see, this is what his chat is.
Johnny Somali on a
Like you could hear the donation. That's all it was. That's all it was. I was like, busting a move to the TTS because like it had a little bit of rhythm to it, but like yeah, that was his humor.
bus.
And now he's getting jumped in South Korea.
Call me ringtone. Huawei, Chinese virus. China. I don't speak Korean.
They try to infiltrate.
English.
Yeah, just being an absolute nuisance.
English. English. English.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, people in South Korea don't let you fuck around the way people in Japan do. Like they're a lot more they will get in your face.
So is he blasting music right now?
Yep.
Right.
I call the police. 112, 112, I call the police. You better back up.
112. Yeah. Wait, do they have the same emergency number as here in Portugal? 112? Really?
$10. Don't touch me. I call police 112. 112, I call police. I call the police. No. It's in my face. I call police on you. You better relax. Relax. It's in my face. Call the police.
Yeah. Absolute fucking nuisance that this guy is.
Nuisance streamer.
Yeah, nuisance streamer. Seriously, I feel like if a platform, I think he was on Kick. I don't think he was on Twitch because I think he got banned off of Twitch and YouTube. But like Kick was allowing these people and rewarding their behavior. And I think if you allow these types of people on your platform, then when people say that your platform is toxic, you can't disagree because your platform is toxic because this is the type of people that you have on your platform. Because if you're the only platform that allows this type of people, this is the only type of people that are going to come to your platform because that's the only place where they can be.
What are you saying?
Good guy. I don't mind if he sleeps with young guys. Cause in my country we can touch young guys on their penis.
What the fuck is that song?
My wife is 13.
Like, what the hell song is that, man? Weirdo.
Dude, this is insane, man.
It's just playing loud ass engine songs from the fucking song.
Everything. I don't know. Highest volume.
That didn't count as the jumping. That was just a bunch of people confronting him for being an asshole. That wasn't actually a jumping, right? That's not a jumping. That's not a jumping.
Johnny Somalia.
Oh,
Highest volume.
Johnny Somalia.
yeah, that's not a punch. He just shoved him off.
Whoa. What's up, man?
Oh, he's coming back. He's coming back. Hey.
What you doing?
Sock him. Sock him in the
You
mouth.
better back the fuck up, nigga. What the Hey,
Sock him in the mouth.
hey.
Sock him in the
yo,
mouth.
What the fuck?
Sock him in. Come
You
on.
understand what the fuck you doing? You better call somebody, nigga. Call the police. Call the police right now. I swear to God, nigga, what the fuck was that? Hey, you know,
God, it's a matter of time, man.
And it's like he doesn't even have one thing I will respect. One thing I'll respect. He's doing this stuff without going around with like 2 or 3 bodyguards to just bully everybody around him, right? Like I respect that much. Like he's being a nuisance, but if you want to whoop his ass, he's right there. You want to kick the shit out of him, he's right there in front of you, and there's nobody in the way. You could just, you could just go right into it. But then he's a bitch because he's doing it in places where people aren't going to want to do that.
I'm blasting.
I'm so
Just
sorry.
blasting music being a nuisance.
All right.
Video
Yeah.
froze.
Roll the tape, Gary. Let's go. From what I know about this guy, Johnny, he kind of just goes around
Complete
and
piece of shit.
antagonizes people.
Yeah. And then people
Not
kick
our
his ass.
favorite, right?
Yeah.
Not high up
Nobody
on our
likes
list.
him.
I don't know what's going
Why would
on,
anybody?
but the word on the block is he's facing like 10 years in prison.
Yes.
I don't know. Let's see.
Go to Johnny's stream. We're gonna have a good time. Whoa!
The YouTuber was eventually booked by the police on Thursday.
Well, guys, I've been waiting on this one
to
for
know.
a while. Today, we are finally getting to talk.
Wait. I'm reacting to Nick reacting to somebody else reacting. Reaction cubed. No, reaction squared.
Talk about the downfall of one of, if not the most hated streamer on the internet right now. I'm going full hater mode
Right
today,
now, yeah.
people. Now, I've purposefully not made a video on the loser we're
Damn!
talking about today up until this
He
point.
really, holy shit, look at those gums. Like, I'm not trying to be, it's not because of the color of his skin at all. It's not because of the color of his skin, believe me. That is a monkey's laugh. Like, seriously. The smile that he has is the same as like and again, this isn't because of the color of his skin at all. This has nothing to do with the color of his skin, but like this is the exact same laugh, smile. Look at it's just the way that he shows off the gums. It has nothing to do with the color of his skin. There's white guys who smile like this, and they're all fucking weirdos. This has nothing to do with the color of his skin. Why does he smile like that?
I don't really want to contribute to him getting any sort of attention whatsoever while
I
he
can't
was
even
still
do that.
able to
I
benefit
can't even
from
do
it.
that
But
shit.
it seems like his
can't even do
reign
that.
of terror might finally be coming to an
Reign of
end.
terror.
So here we are.
Reign of
If you're
terror is
active on
crazy.
Twitter, or if you read the title or looked at the thumbnail, you already know who we're talking about today: the one and only Johnny Somali. Now, if you don't know who Johnny Somali is, well, then consider yourself pretty lucky. You might actually still have some
Honestly, not knowing who this guy is would make my life noticeably better.
faith in the average person, but after
Man.
learning about this skid
Such a
mark
piece
of
of
a
shit.
human, that's probably
such a
gonna
piece
go
of shit,
away.
dog.
Sorry. Now, for those of
Nobody
you who have
likes
heard of
this
this
guy.
guy, I'll give
He's
you
a
a brief
prick.
background on him, because I feel like if you don't know who this guy is and what he stands for, the possibility of the internet
I need you to understand something. That guy doesn't stand for anything. That guy believes in attention. That's all he wants. He doesn't believe in anything. All right, this whole what he stands. He doesn't stand for nothing. He doesn't stand for nothing, Chet. He doesn't. He doesn't believe a damn thing in his life. Nothing.
finally being rid of this guy really won't hold as much weight. So basically, Johnny Somali is what is commonly referred to these days as a nuisance streamer, and the name is exactly what it sounds like.
He
The
exists to
content
be a
of these
nuisance.
losers is walking around in public, messing with people, harassing
Yeah,
people, causing a scene, just being a
Jack
general nuisance.
Doherty.
Another famous example of this kind of streamer is Jack Doherty, and if you have
Look, okay. Jack Doherty is the most famous one, right? Johnny Somali is currently the more famous of the two because he's just more relevant right now, but Jack Doherty never got to be this bad, right? Jack Doherty was a nuisance, but he never went around like vandalizing shit, you know? He didn't go to different countries. He would antagonize people in his rough neighborhood. And basically, all he would do is like he'd fucking shoulder check you while doing his stream. And then he'd have his bodyguard just push you away. And then instead of hiring actual bodyguards who will help to, de-escalate the situation, he'd just hire like thugs to push people around because, content, I guess. Jack Doherty's like an actual piece of shit. This guy's just a fucking nuisance kid.
If Jack Doherty in your company, you're doing something wrong. Now, Johnny Somali got his fame,
Haven't even seen
or
his video
really
yet,
infamy, more like, from his streams while he was traveling throughout Japan. If you've heard of Johnny Somali before all of this, this is probably when you learned about him. More so than Jack Doherty, even. This guy is genuinely only famous because people hate him.
And I think it's absolutely disgusting that you can see in the top left there. How does he get subs? Why do people donate to him? Like, this means there are people who actually go, yeah, I want to fund this content. Like, fuck you guys. You're the reason he's doing this shit.
And most of this hate was created during his Japan live streams. For quite some time, the guy would literally do nothing with his life but walk around messing with Japanese locals, doing a wide variety of deplorable shit, such as taunting people with comments about the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He did similar things with Fukushima. He threatened multiple public places with violence or nuclear weapon attacks. He would constantly cause scenes and harass people on the subways. He would go around recording people in various locations and see how they react to songs that talked about atomic bombs.
Basically, he was being a piece of shit. Like, you could just summarize it that way.
The guy's really kind of a one-trick pony, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah,
Eventually, he was arrested for conspiracy of obstruction of
annoying.
business after he went into a restaurant and wouldn't stop playing extremely loud music and noises after being asked to. Keep in mind, this guy's 24 years old. He was found guilty and was fined, and then he returned to the United States. Not long after this, he went to Israel and did the same exact thing. He went around harassing people, leading to him getting his ass kicked a few times. He sexually harassed a female police officer.
It was Israel. I said some Arab countries because I wasn't sure where it was, but it was Israel. My bad.
He vandalized religious monuments and eventually received a temporary ban from Jerusalem. And now, most recently, he's been doing this same exact shit in South Korea. And that's how we've got into where we are today. Over the last month or so, he's threatened violence against Korean celebrities. He gave a lap dance to the Statue of Peace, which is a statue symbolizing Korean comfort women, who were women and girls who were forced into sexual slavery by the Japanese army. Again, 24-year-old adult doing shit like this on the daily. More loud music in public, more obscene noises in public. The guy
I feel like everybody watching this understands why he was getting jumped every time he went outside in South Korea. Because, like, I cannot think of a world where, like, he would come to Portugal and do this shit and not get shanked.
Guy's been playing.
And Portugal isn't even like a high crime neighborhood in the world, right? It's like, this isn't a high crime place. It is a place you'll get your ass kicked, though. Like, people here aren't afraid to just run your pockets. Like, you would just, this would not occur for more than like a few hours before you just stop having the ability to walk.
Speeches by Kim Jong-un on the sub.
Which I guess is why he was picking these countries, right? He was in Israel for like a week before he left. He was in Japan for months, and he was in South Korea for, I think, a month now. But it's like, he goes to places where people aren't going to react the way they need to stop him, right? And then and that's how he gets away with it. He's just a piece of shit.
Subway. He's been getting violent with people when they try to get him to follow basic rules, dumping out his food in restaurants like a toddler, just being a general piece of shit to everybody.
The dumping out of the food, that'll piss me off every time, right? I see that, and immediately, I hope the next frame is just you just see somebody's hand just like colliding with his face.
And everything that he comes into contact with.
Wow.
Now, it's important to note that this guy has basically not been able to go anywhere without getting the shit beat out of him at least a couple of times. Everywhere he's been, once the locals get wind of what he's doing, people end up tracking him down, and it usually doesn't go too well for him. I say it's important to note that because it makes
it's not to the extent of what would happen here in Europe. but it does happen.
Complete
Great.
degenerates loser behavior. A little bit more palatable. I don't condone vigilante justice.
Palatable.
I don't think you should go out and beat people up, but
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I don't condone. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, I know the first time you saw somebody just smacking him in the mouth, you went, yeah, do it again. I just know. I just know. From the way he said that, I see you.
I can't say I'm too particularly upset that this stuff has happened to Mr. Somali. You reap what you
I
sow.
had it coming.
I do. I completely condone it. I mean, at the end of the day, if
Yeah,
you're going
he
around and
deserves it.
doing stuff like this, somebody's got to fix it.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do something.
Now,
Yeah,
I
whoop
bring
his
this
ass.
up for
Fuck him
another
up.
reason, and that's because it's going to become important talking about this kind of behavior as a whole a bit later. But before we get into that, I want to talk about why this video is being made in the first place. Mr. Johnny Somali may have finally stepped too far and might finally end up getting more than just a slap on the wrist. After being detained by the police to protect him from the Korean public because people
Yeah, because people were tracking his location. He was going outside, and within 5 minutes, there was people there to kick his ass.
were genuinely hunting this guy down.
That's insane. To shield him from mounting hostility among the public.
Including a YouTuber who's apparently a former member of the Korean Special Forces.
Oh,
He's being
He was getting jumped by special forces? No way.
charged
what?
with disturbing the public order, assault, trespassing, and drug-related offenses. And if he's found guilty, he could face up to 10 years in
I think
prison.
right now it's
And
the
just
29th.
a few days ago,
Because this video is from 5 days ago. Nick Merckx's video is from 5 days ago. The other video is probably even further away. But like right now, it's around 29. That's the number I've seen.
he was barred from leaving the country as he awaits trial. Now, this is great news. Look, I'm not a huge fan of seeing people throw their lives away. I've talked about this many times on my
Yeah,
channel.
but he's been doing it, right? He's actually trying to throw his life away, and he's not even making that much money out of it. Like we saw, he had like 50-something subs, which is more than he should, but it's still not enough to this guy's never gonna get a job in his life. Who wants this piece of shit working for him? Well, I wouldn't. Like, if I have a corner store, I don't want this piece of shit working there. If I have a business, like an actual corporation, I don't want this guy working here. And like any amount of background research will find out who this guy is, right? So like, no, this guy's life is over. He threw it away. He's gonna be. He's fucked.
How I think that a lot
Unless
of people
he turns around his online persona after spending 30 years in South Korean prison. Unless he turns around his online persona, he's fucked.
these days don't really ever
Because no real job. He's never gonna get a real job, other than like minimum wage stuff. And I doubt he has the skills for even that. So it really is just going to come down to either this guy turns around his online persona and manages to monetize it in a healthy and good way that allows it to just continue. He's fucked. He is fucked. And it's his fault, and he deserves it.
sit down and think about how they have one shot at this life, and if they waste it by doing stupid shit like this, they're really, really, really gonna regret it one day.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You don't. He's gonna regret it. He's not gonna be able to get a real job. But at the same time, it's like there's ways. Like you can survive. He can survive. Like the whole he's never gonna get a real job. Like I said that. It's like yeah, but there's other ways to survive. Like family businesses. Somebody in his family might take him in. Of course, he's gonna need to work for it. He's gonna need to actually like not be a moron for like 5 seconds in a row, which I'm already gathering is hard for him, right? But at the same time, I'm sure he could pull it off.
But at some point, you just can't
Right.
feel bad for a person. Johnny
course not.
Somali is far, far past that point. And honestly,
It's not about having to feel bad for somebody. Look, this guy needs help. He needs to be fixed and
Yeah, with, copious beatings.
corrected. He's making mistake after mistake after mistake. Consequences have actions. Reap what you sow. It's now time for him to do that. That's
Yeah.
it.
as cruel as this might sound, the most productive thing this guy could do
This is the time where he needs to suffer consequences. He should have suffered real consequences when he started. He didn't, because people felt bad for him, right? It was gonna happen.
With his life right now is probably get thrown into a South Korean prison. To
Yep.
be an example for
Oh,
all
dude,
the
that's
dumbasses
gonna
growing
be
up who
unreal.
think they want to be the next Jack Doherty or the next Johnny Somali. An example being made of this loser with a chance to turn things around in a few years maybe. Being constantly ridiculed and hated on by the internet. If those things are not enough to trigger some self-reflection and make you think, maybe I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
Dude, imagine if he goes to prison and he starts acting the same way in prison. He's just dead. He's just gonna die. If he acts this way in prison. By the way, the text you see means that the text you see at the bottom in the blue, it means that he's playing out loud, like for everybody to hear, a patriotic North Korean song in South Korea.
Nothing's gonna. So it's probably time for somebody to step in, and it seems like that somebody is gonna be the South Korean government. And I think it's important that somebody, or an entity, is stepping in, because this game that these nuisance streamers are playing, it's a pretty dangerous one. I was not joking earlier when I said that there's a guy on YouTube who's an ex-member of the South Korean Special Forces who was live streaming himself trying to find Johnny Somali for weeks. And he did, and he damn near knocked him out. Guys like Jack Doherty who do this shit in the United States, they know better than to try this stuff on anybody but the people within their circle. If they ever do leave the relative safety of their influencer circle, they have bodyguards, they never stay out in public too long, they know that people hate their fucking guts and that some people are willing to do some pretty crazy things to people that they don't like. Again, I'm not condoning that in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. I can hear it in your voice. I can hear. I can hear. You guys can hear it too. Yeah, I know you guys can hear it too. He's smiling when he says that shit. He's smiling when he says that shit.
But you go and pull this shit in a big city in America, it's not gonna work out for you for too long.
Dead. Like he starts doing that shit. You guys know that? You guys remember that prank YouTuber who just tried to steal somebody's groceries and got blasted? Yeah. You think this guy would survive? No.
Johnny Somali has
Thankfully, the guy who got blasted survived. Like he was wounded. He went to the hospital, and hopefully, when he gets out of the hospital, he actually behaves.
Many times that the reason he goes to these countries, specifically the Asian ones, is because he thinks nobody's ever going to do anything to him.
Trust me, go to Johnny's stream. We're gonna have a good time.
Oh, you got jumped.
Having this mindset that you're invincible and using it to trick yourself into thinking that you'd be perfectly okay pissing off an entire country, which saying the entire country in this situation is really not an exaggeration. How they should handle this guy was being discussed in the Korean parliament. It's a really, really stupid and dangerous.
Bro, he made it to Parliament? I didn't know that shit. I didn't know he made it to Parliament. I didn't know that he had the fucking president of South Korea just go, "Nah, we need to fuck this guy up."
Just way to live, and if a government entity doesn't teach you that lesson, eventually somebody will, and it probably will not be as pretty as just going to jail for a few years.
Is that a hammer in
I
his
don't know what's
hands?
making people so fucking stupid these days that they think that doing stuff like this is acceptable, especially dedicating your life to it, but it's really getting old. Like, out of all the things going on the internet right now, I think the whole nuisance streamer thing is what I'm most ready to die out, which is why, really, if I'm being completely honest, I don't really give a shit what kind of lesson this guy gets taught, as long as he gets taught one and it keeps him off the internet for good.
Right,
okay, that actually sounds sort of dark now that I listen back to it, but
Yeah. But it wouldn't be a bad thing if he just wasn't on the internet ever again, would it? Like, I'm not saying he needs to die. I'm just saying he needs to be kept off the internet forever. Because he's only spread badness. And he has harmed hundreds, if not thousands of people with his videos.
you guys know what I mean. He's already been banned off Kick, which I really
I'm not
hope
saying
is
I'm not saying like he needs to suffer physical consequences. I don't think he does. I even think that he doesn't need to stay in prison for like 10 years. I think a year in prison would be more than enough. But tell him it's going to be 10 years and then let him off early if he behaves, right? But like I genuinely, if he doesn't learn, the consequence will eventually be permanent physical damage. And that's not a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing that he is walking towards a line where somebody's just going to stab him in the chest. But that's where he's going. it's not a good thing. But that's what's going to happen eventually, right? And again, not a good thing. It's good that people are punching him every once in a while, because that's like low level, right? That's low level. You're not going to be suffering a permanent injury from somebody running up and just socking you around, just like, that's not going to cause you long-term physical harm. It's just going to hurt right then and there. It's like, ow, man, my face. Oh. And then, like, there's a chance that you're going to go, maybe I should stop. But if you don't, eventually it's going to escalate.
Real ban, you would think that even for kick standards, they would not want this guy associated with them. But
Yeah,
at the
but
same time, I would not
look, come on, Kick doesn't give a fuck.
put it past Kick for this to be like a 10-day ban or something. But optimism still has a place somewhere
He's
in
just
this
trying to
world,
piss everybody
maybe.
off,
And with the
man.
current circumstances,
Look at him.
there is at least a possibility that for the next 10 years, we would not have to hear the name Johnny Somali. Now, obviously, I don't really see that happening. But even if this guy could get like a 6-month sentence, maybe, I think that would be more than enough time.
Like, dude, these people are just trying to go to work. They're trying to go do their thing. Imagine that's your mom, or that's your aunt.
This is the shit I was talking about. Like here in Portugal, imagine he like harasses somebody's mom. The next day he's getting his ass cooked. He's cooked. It's fucked. His phone's getting broken. He and all his friends are getting their ass whooped. It's done. I'm not kidding you. Like he went to these countries because he thought he was safe. And now he's learning otherwise.
Grandma, your sister. I don't know, man.
Time for this guy to fade completely into irrelevancy. If he's not free to go out and harass people and make the internet hate him more and more with every single passing day, people
looks
are gonna
like a
forget
little
about this
dude,
guy
too,
pretty
man.
quickly. And then anything over a few months sentence-wise
And
is
look,
just the cherry on.
I don't know what this whole premise is. That, like, you can get away with this stuff in Japan.
Not for
Bro,
long.
there's some people over there that'll tune you up for this, man.
Yeah, but like the vast majority of people there won't. The vast majority of people there will not, in fact, tune you up. But some will, and the ones that will fucking tune you up.
Oof.
On
Yeah.
top. Let
But the vast
idiot
majority
sit
of people
around and
won't.
think about how he's wasted his youth. Well, guys, what do you think? Is this the worst example of a nuisance streamer we've seen so far?
No, Jack
Personally,
Doherty's worse.
I think it is. Jack Doherty is a little shit, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel like he's done anything near as bad as Johnny Somali. Obviously,
Here's the thing, I'm thinking about it, like, and yeah, he's kind of right. Johnny Somali, the scale of Johnny Somali is worse, right? The reason I dislike Jack Doherty, though, is because with Jack, he does it with bodyguards. He does it in a way where you have no recourse other than just escalating to the maximum level, and nobody wants to do that, right? Because his bodyguard's just going to immediately shove you around the moment you confront him. And there's been even a case where like he was harassing this girl, and her friend steps in, and the bodyguard just knocks him out. And so yeah, Jack is definitely a menace as well. But yeah, he's kind of right. Johnny Somali is worse just by scale.
that's not a super positive look for Jack Doherty, though. If
Yeah.
your actions are being compared to that of Johnny Somali's,
Same
you've really done something
basket,
wrong in your
different
life.
egg.
I truly hope this is the last time I ever talk about this guy. Really, I would hope this is the last time I ever have to talk about any kind of nuisance streamer. But unfortunately, I'm not quite that delusional. Not yet, at least.
Yo, it'll be kind of crazy if he gets 10 years in a
Yes.
prison in South.
It'd be overkill. It'd be overkill, I think. But it would also show everybody else, right? Like, here's the thing. I think that the best thing to do is convict him with a big number. 10 is good. 29, which is what it's looking like it's probably going to be, would also be not terrible. Just hit him with 29 years, fuck his ass up. And then, like, if he's behaving, which he probably won't, but if he's behaving, 2-3 years from now, let him out and tell him, hey, don't come back. And I think that that'll teach everybody. I think if you do that, it'll teach a lesson to everybody, or at least to most people, at least for a few years. But yeah, I think 10 years is too much. I think if he's gonna stay in prison for 10 years over this, too much. Because like 10 years is murder. 10 years is like bank robbery. It's not being an asshole, you know?
South Korea. Let me tell you, that lesson that we want him to learn, oh, he going to be sitting front row in that class. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Yeah, if that is in fact if that is in fact what we want him to learn, that he's gonna learn it. He's gonna learn it for sure. But I hope you guys had a good time. I know I did. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Cheers.